Welcome, marketing chefs. I've got something truly special cooking in the Omni-Channel oven today.
MarketingKitchenTV Q&A Live, part 2 of 4.
You asked the question about all things related to the ABCDM hits. What does that stand for? I will be answering your questions about advertising, branding, communications, digital, and marketing. And what do the hits stand for? Hyperconnected, IoT, technology, and sales. And I'll answer your questions here today in the Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live. Up next in the Marketing Kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen, the Marketing Kitchen. Hi, I'm Ron Vining, your host of Marketing Kitchen TV. Rather than take the time to do the standalone Q&A like I've been doing, I thought that I would change it up a bit and I would just go through the Twitter feed and answer as many questions as I can. And if the video gets too long, I'll cut it up into 2 or 3 different videos. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live. And what I mean by live is that this should run without edits, or at least with just a few tweaks here and there, just for flow. The reason why I'm going to start doing more videos like this is so that I can actually get them posted. I have a hard drive full of videos that I have recorded, but I don't have the time to edit them, so I haven't put them up to YouTube. They were recorded so they would be edited. I don't know if you know what I mean, right? So this one, I'm going to record knowing that I'm not going to edit, so the mindset is different. But if you're going to produce a video and create it where you'll have edits, then you record differently. So those videos are sitting on my hard drive. One of these days, I'm going to have the time to edit them. And one of the reasons why I like to edit is, I don't know if you can hear a baby crying outside my kitchen window here. Things just kind of happen when you're recording live, but I've watched a number of YouTube channels where dogs are barking, alarms are going off, people are walking around in the background, so I guess it's all fair game when recording in this style. For those of you that notice that the background is different, well, actually, if you take a look here where my mouse is pointing, I'm standing right here. And in fact, this picture hasn't been updated because I have my new 34-inch monitor right here, and my laptop is sitting here, monitor's sitting here, and I'm standing here. So you're seeing this shot over here of the kitchen. So a little bit different than our usual. But this enables me to do a split screen record and be able to take a look at your Twitter questions here. I really want to apologize that my videos have not been so frequent in the past month, and there's a reason for it. Hopefully it's a good reason. So this video is sponsored by myself. Now, this is sponsored by a new company that I've started, and the name of that company is AppFlix, and it's right here. And AppFlix is going to be your streaming entertainment guide, where I'm going to be taking a look at the best of video games, music, and then video in terms of films and series that'll be streaming across all our favorite apps. And some of them are in the picture here, but you know what I mean by apps, right? We're talking about Disney Plus, Netflix, HBO Max coming out soon, CBS All Access. That's for the programming side, so films and TV series. But we'll also be looking at Apple Music and Apple Arcade for music and gaming, looking at Google Stadia and YouTube Music for the Google aspect of that. Also Amazon Prime, they have music, they've got Twitch for gaming, etc. So there's a lot of apps that are coming out in the streaming space covering gaming, music, and your favorite films and shows. So I thought I'd create a website that focused in on that. So my plug will be over in a second. But AppFlix is going to have 3 key components to it. One is going to be the news, and so the news is this area here called Cinetaste, where we'll talk about the latest buzz in the industry, things that are popular, and then we'll compare streaming services that are available. Then another section is going to be, is Cinejewels, where we're going to have forums. That's where there will be discussion blogs or things similar to, say, like a LinkedIn group, where people can talk about their streaming services, programming, etc. Be able to review your favorite content of, again, games, music, and video, as well as a best of. And I've decided to build in some gamification here. And just a little quick, Rotten Tomatoes has tomatoes. I've got peppers. So we've got a pepper scale going from cold all the way to spicy. So icy or spicy is how it's going to work on this particular platform. So I think you'll find that fun. And with more gamification, I have a thing called a scorcher scale, which as something is trending, so as it's getting spicy, the meter's going to rise. And when content isn't good, it's going to fall in the opposite direction. Anyway, it's a work in progress. Just launched it on November 25th. And the gamification piece, the forums, and the reviews will be up by the middle, hopefully, of December. And then I'll officially launch the site in 2020. All right, enough with the advertisement there. But thank you for our sponsor, which was me. Okay, I've invested a lot of time and a lot of money in that. So anyway, there's the plug. Let us take, what I'll probably do with these sessions is answer 15 questions and then stop the video, and then I'll answer another 15 questions, and that'll be another video. We'll see how it runs, see how challenging the particular questions are, and how long the video runs in doing that. I hope you like this format. Let me know in the comments section and tell me if this works. All right, let's see, next question. Due to the differences between B2C and B2B business models, is it a fair assumption to say that the traditional B2C CRM has to be more powerful than the traditional B2B CRM in order to serve their unique needs? Due to the differences between B2C, well, that's a very loaded question. And what do you want to do? You want me to I could dedicate an entire hour to answering this one. Let me see if I can do this in 5 minutes. Okay, a B2C CRM. Well, let's go to the nature of the product being sold. If we go back to my first answer in today's session, I talked about you have the brand, I talked about the fact that you have the channel, and then you have the audience. And whether it's B2B or B2C, you still have this model. The differences now between B2B and B2C are the channel and the audience. So the customer, we will say typically customer is referred to in a B2B situation, and the consumer is in the B2C situation. The data that we collect for both should be equally as detailed. The difference, however, is in the B2B play, we're looking more so at not just the individual or individuals that sit on the buying center, the people who actually would be procuring the product. We're looking at the company as a whole. But when we do know the decision makers, and maybe it's just one or maybe it's the whole committee in a buying center, what we do is we would want to have as much information, or as highly detailed info on them, just as we would in a B2C situation, because we would want to target their likes and dislikes, their needs, their wants, their desires, in order to hit those pain points, push those buttons, so that when the message goes from the brand through the channel to the, in this case, the customer or consumer, they are sold on what our offering is. And then in the B2C situation, we're really just dealing with individuals. And then you want to get as much information as possible on that individual. Again, it's going to that box of 3 that I've talked about several times. So to me, no, a B2C CRM does not need to be more powerful than a B2B CRM. I would say that they need to be the same, but you're looking at different data. You're collecting different data. And then of course your channel is going to typically be different in how you reach out to them. Because remember, it's always about, it's audience first, it's the target first. Who is your audience, whether it's B2B or B2C? Who are they? What are their preferences? And when we talk about preferences, we back up to channel. What channel is the best method to speak with them? The easier aspect of B2C is that our channels are pretty much unlimited. But in B2B, they're more restricted. And there's less that we can do to be able to reach them. And B2B, we're trying to affect more than one decision maker. In B2C, we really just need to make that connection with one person and just sell them. So I would even say that the B2B CRM potentially needs to be more robust. But again, you're collecting different data and you're constructing messages on typically different channels. Hope that answers that question. I could really take an hour on that one. I think I just did it in 5 minutes. Next question. B2C and B2B customer service is different in many aspects. What are some of the best customer service strategies to utilize when creating B2B relationships? Touching upon what I just said in the last question, it's really about developing. So in B2C, it can be personal in a physical retail store setting, let's say, or it can be personal in the terms of utilizing data to make recommendations and offers when one enters a web portal or an e-commerce type play. And so that's pretty straightforward. In B2B, the real difference is developing a one-on-one relationship with that individual or individuals on the buying center who would be procuring your product or service. And you can start to achieve that by digital. So if you've watched my video the speech that I gave in the Philippines, and hopefully it's one of the recommended ones. It's the second most popular video on my channel, so check that one out if you haven't already. But in that one, I talk about the fact that one of the ways to reach out in B2B is to start an online community, and you provide resources there. So it can be unique, differentiated content that would appeal to the types of C-level decision makers that you're looking for. And you can invite them to those channels, you can engage with them on those channels, and sort of begin that level of it's superficial, but it's a bit custom conversation. And through LinkedIn Navigator or other tools, you can target the individuals. You can buy a package where you have unlimited in-mails to be able to invite them, but that's one tier. After you've established some type of a digital rapport, let's say, you could then invite them to physical events, and that would be conferences or masterclass, workshops. You could have your company could host a special event like a dinner or award ceremonies. Perhaps even it's a hands-on demonstration at a product at a particular job site or in a factory. there's a number of different ways you elevate the engagement from digital to physical. You could also be introduced to individuals through their peer network. So let's say that you have a B2B customer who is at a specific, job title level function, and you have a customer in a similar industry, non-competing of course, that you have a good rapport with already. You could ask that individual if they would be willing to reach out to that person, that peer group, if you will, and connect the two of you. And you would be amazed at how that type of a connection could really begin to build that relationship that you would need to accomplish the goal that you might seek. All right, hopefully that answered your question there. There's some children playing nearby. Hopefully the microphone is not going to pick them up. Today has been filled with challenges. It's fun to record live. All right, let's see. Going on to the next question here. What channels are most, okay, I'm trying to work on the wording here. There's a channel that I watch on YouTube all the time, and the host of that channel has become brutal to the people who post questions to him. Refusing to answer them if they're not worded properly. And I'm losing my voice, and I'm going to have to stop now. All right, I'm back. I continue to have technical issues, as well as there's a lot of stuff happening around me in the background, and my voice keeps giving out. So I don't know. I can't seem to win today, but I need to get through some of these questions to get the videos up, because I made a commitment that they would be up this week. And this is just the first of many that I need to record, do some light, hopefully not major editing on because of the technical difficulties, and then get them to YouTube. And I'm not sure if you're aware, any of you who haven't produced any videos for YouTube, but recording is only one piece. In order to have a decent video, you need to have that opening, sort of an intro, and then you need the close to close out your video. Some music is good, and once you then edit it in some form of software, you then have to wait forever sometimes for it to load to YouTube, and then you need to create a thumbnail. And anyway, and then, if you want people to watch it, you've got to market it to some degree as well. It's not as fun as I thought it was going to be. But in the festive season here is one of my Starbucks Singapore cups to celebrate the holidays. It's filled with some really hot water here, so I'm carefully spinning it around. And anyway, it says Singapore here on the inside. They came out with one of these each year for 4 years, I think it is, and in a different color. Same city skyline, but changed a bit. I have a Boston version of one of these cups too. Just thought I'd share. All right. I have a habit of collecting things. I don't know about you. Brands like that. So if you're looking to, since we've been talking a lot about customer loyalty, one of the things that hooks customers are collectibles, or things that come in a set. Case in point, my obsession with Lego Star Wars now. All right, Sean, let's see. What channels are or will be the most effective for the future of customer service? What are some of the best ways that brands can turn negative feedback on social media platforms into positive interactions and experiences? That's a great one. And you know, I've not seen very many good examples of this. I've actually seen brands fight back as opposed to own up to their own inadequacies in terms of meeting the consumer expectation with maybe a product failure or their response. And the worst thing that you can ever be, hopefully you learn this from young, is to take a defensive posture as opposed to listening, saying, okay, but then asking the question, how would you do it better? What would you like me to do? Now, a lot of companies, of course, don't want to ask that question because then you'll tell them what you want them to do. And so they want to focus the engagement so that it stays within a parameter that they're willing to work within, assuming that they are. An example of this would be the Walt Disney Company. I have never heard the Walt Disney Company say that they've made a mistake. If you have ever written to them, and back in the day, I wrote to them with a criticism, a critique, constructive of course, about the Walt Disney World property in Orlando, Florida. And rather than someone from customer service reach out to me, I received a phone call from the legal department. I never mentioned anything about threatening to sue or anything of that nature, but legal wanted to speak with me first to set the parameters of the conversation before customer service would speak to me. And anyway, I found that to be an interesting way to go about it. Neither party admitted to what was factual based upon the photographs that I had taken, because that would have been admitting fault. So instead, I received really good spin and really nothing that satisfied why I wrote in the first place. And to me, that was frustrating. And so brands should avoid that type of interaction with the customer. So within reason, one should admit fault. One should then say what they intend to do to rectify holistically as well as individually the problem to satisfy you, the consumer or the customer. And in terms of social, this can really backfire. Let's go to now a company that Disney owns, Lucasfilm, and we'll talk about the backlash that happened around The Last Jedi. Now here's an example where die-hard Star Wars fans felt disenfranchised by the tone, treatment of characters, story, and the brand of The Last Jedi in relation to the legacy of Star Wars films and canon and the like. Rather than Disney acknowledge the fact that a fan's point of view is valid, they attacked the fans, saying that they were racist, sexist. There was even a bit of an age issue, saying that they were not old-fashioned, but they were unwilling to, they weren't progressive, let's say, okay? And was that the right approach to take? No. And as a result of that, they actually gave And it's referred to online now as the Fandom Menace, a play of the Phantom Menace. And so what Disney did unwittingly, this started with The Force Awakens, by the way. So for an example is the character of Rey. Rey is, I mean, let's face it, she is a female Luke Skywalker without having earned being a Luke Skywalker. So in other words, Luke Skywalker went on the hero's journey, and it's a whole theory written by Joseph Campbell. And if you're interested in storytelling, you should check that out. You could also watch one of my videos where I talk about the hero's journey. I talk about it in one of my Captain Marvel reviews, as well as in a video that I did, well, in my Avengers Endgame video, and one called Marvel versus Star Wars. But I talk about the hero's journey there. Anyway, Rey was Luke Skywalker without having earned it. Luke, over 2 films, even really wasn't even until his 3rd film that he had reached the status that Rey, without any Force training, had reached within 45 minutes of The Force Awakens. So when fans criticized the character of Rey, they weren't criticizing the fact that she was female. They were criticizing the fact that she was, quote unquote, a Mary Sue. And what a Mary Sue is in film terms and storytelling terms is a character who is better than everyone else with no explanation for being better than everyone else. And there's a male counterpart to that in story too, and that's called a Gary Sue. So it's just that character who's perfect. There's no flaws. They are just better than everyone else for no apparent reason. And that upset a number of Star Wars fans from the beginning of the Disney takeover. And it didn't get any better when that terrible story called The Last Jedi was released. And I did a video, I did a blog on that called Revenge on the Last Jedi Fans. And you can check that one out if you want. But, and I also touch on that in my Marvel versus Star Wars video as well. But Disney's response on social, where the director of The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson, attacked fans, where some of the cast members attacked fans, some of the authors attacked fans, and that was the wrong way to go about it, because that then gave them power, even more power than they already had, in a platform that they controlled more so than the Walt Disney Corporation did. And, you know, I'm not trying to take sides or anything in that particular fight. I just know that the approach of acknowledging, addressing, and making a compromise and looking for a way to move forward is a far better approach to customer service than what some companies have taken in the past, especially on social, where your dirty laundry can be aired out. And there's a couple of brands where I personally have had some issues with on social. One would be the telco here in Singapore, and we've had some knockout brawls on Twitter where I didn't intend for it to be that way, but I don't like when I say that something's wrong with the service, I want that addressed. I don't want to be attacked for pointing that out, because you won't win. And so any of you who have had me as your professor know that it'll be difficult to win an argument, and unless I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I will own up to it. But if I'm not, I'm I'll roll up those sleeves. That's why I always wear short sleeves. They're already rolled up and ready for the fight, and get down into it. So anyway, the best way that brands can turn negative feedback into positive is the approach that I just said. Own up to it and move forward. And you got to compromise. You got to be willing to make good on your brand promise. And that's a critical, to me anyway, that's a critical component. I think my fan might be interfering with my mic. Let me just kick it here. All right. I love doing these live videos here. There's no room for error. Okay. All right. I hope you enjoyed this segment. I enjoyed talking about customer service, customer experience, B2B and B2C with you, with loyalty and rewards. I found this to be a rewarding exchange. Now that the tech issues seem to be resolved with this format, though it's not what I wanted, at least it's working, and at least I can get a video out to you, unlike what had been happening for the past couple of days. The reason why, it's not only that I've been super busy working on AppFlix that I was unable to get these videos out. It's because I've been facing a number of tech issues with recording them. And imagine recording a 45-minute video and then there not being any sound. And that happened to me. And it wasn't because I connected it wrong, just the mic didn't work. Maybe the cord was loose, I don't know. And then today, the video, when I exit out, it just doesn't save. So, and that happened as well too when I recorded a few. All right, this is just one of many that I'll be recording related to marketing Q&A. And for those of you that have not been here before or asked a question before, just go to MarketingKitchenTV right here at MarketingKitchenTV. Use the hashtag, as in this example right here, Q&A. Ask your question and I'll answer it right here. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. That'll do it for this episode. I hope you found my answers useful. In the next episode of Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live, we'll pick up where we left off. I hope that we can have some engagement on this channel by you offering some comments. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please like it and please share with your friends. It will really help the channel to grow, which in turn will help me and make this a better resource for us all. Thank you for your question. If you'd like me to answer a question here on Marketing Kitchen TV, all you need to do is go to the @MarketingKitchenTV on Twitter, use the hashtag Q&A, and I will answer your questions here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, there's always fresh content simmering on our storytelling stovetop. So whatever happens in this kitchen shouldn't stay in this marketing kitchen. I'm Ron Vining, your host, reminding you to invite your family and friends to the next episode of Marketing Kitchen TV.